we're gearing up for quite the weekend in professional wrestling. I mean, you've got a lot of professional wrestling coming up this weekend, so there's going to be something for everyone. AEW is doing their When Worlds Collide pay-per-view, where they joint pay-per-view with CMLL, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and it looks like Stardom is going to be involved in this as well. On top of that, AEW Forbidden Door. On top of that, you're going to see TNA, I believe, has a pay-per-view. NXT has a premium live event. And the WWE is going to be putting on their Night of Champions event as well, where they will crown a king and queen of the ring. There's going to be previews and predictions for the AEW Forbidden Door and WWE Night of Champions, but I thought that I would talk about something that has just been making rounds over the last couple of weeks regarding Oba Femi. Is Oba Femi ready? Is it his time to take not only the proverbial crown of being the top guy in the WWE, but the King of the Ring crown as well, that will lead him on the path to SummerSlam to face a world champion? Who that world champion will be would be up to Oba Femi's choosing, but I'm sure that, you know, if you've been on the internet, or even yourself, if you've been watching the product, I'm sure you can surmise that it's more than likely destined to be Roman Reigns. Cody Rhodes, of course, for sure is in the running if he is able to retain at Night of Champions. But Roman Reigns, that is the true story. The tie-in with Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns being a top dog and having to fight through the beast incarnate in order to become the tribal chief that he is now, versus Oba Femi's stellar rise to the top by beating Brock Lesnar in almost record time there, for at least for someone that has no experience with Brock Lesnar, right? First time in the ring with Brock, and then he's able to pin him in under 5 minutes. Pretty substantial there. And although Brock has gotten his revenge, Oba is still standing tall as the ruler, and now he's in the finals of the King of the Ring, going against Jey Uso to determine who's going to win. And that is probably one of the most debated predictions for Night of Champions that you're going to see. My job isn't here to tell you who I think is going to win, although since we are talking about Oba Femi, let's theorize for a second if he were to win. There has to be a plan for Oba Femi. The WWE has an abundance of main event talent that is pretty much part-timers. You've got Brock Lesnar, you've got Roman Reigns, you've got Randy Orton. Hopefully Kevin Owens is able to return soon, but I imagine if he were to return, he wouldn't be working that full grind schedule that he would be used to, considering the type of surgery that he's had on his neck. You also have a lot of wrestlers that are over 40 and are on their way into their 50s. You've got CM Punk, and you've got Seth Rollins, who I believe is in his mid to late 40s, if I'm not mistaken. So the point is, you've got a lot of guys that are gearing up to become legacy acts, right? Now it's time to usher in the new generation. And you've got some great guys that have a lot of promise. You've got guys like Javon Evans, like Trick Williams. Ricky Saints is showing a lot of promise. Carmelo Hayes. You've got Danhausen even, which I don't think he's going to be a main eventer, but he shows promise in being in the WWE in some form or another, you know, whether it's turning gears or building to main event matches by doing the curses and whatnot. You've got Dominic Mysterio, El Grande Americano, Chad Gable. You know, these guys are kind of swimming around the mid to upper mid card, on their way to possibly be main eventers. Oba Femi is the one guy who isn't even 30 yet. I mean, he might be turning 30, or he might have just turned 30, but he's barely 30, and he's ready. He is absolutely ready to carry the torch for the WWE. He can hold his own on the microphone. The WWE has confidence in giving him the microphone to even open up Raw. He's got a spectacular entrance. They do the Oba Walk cam, where everybody's doing his little march to the ring. Merchandising, I'm sure, he's got the Femi Fala, which is like the Ula Fala. It's those beads that he has around his neck. He's got the moves. You know, WWE is all about the big moves. He's got his 5 moves of doom, and he's large in stature. He's got the presence. He's got the charisma, and they've given him an opportunity with his momentum to be considered amongst the top big guys in the WWE by beating Brock Lesnar the way that he did. Similarly, you've got a guy like Gunther, who had quite the rise in the WWE. Although it was more of a circuitous route, he came into the WWE much like he came into NXT by dominating. He went on a 666-day Intercontinental Championship run. Once that concluded, he had a world title run that was brief, but it was substantial. And he retired 3 of the biggest professional wrestling names that we have seen in the WWE and arguably in professional wrestling, in AJ Styles, Bill Goldberg, and John Cena. What did they do with Gunther after that? Did they have a plan? Did they capitalize on that momentum? Some would argue no, they didn't. Because right now, Gunther is on an 0-3 losing streak to Cody Rhodes, which is fine because Cody Rhodes is QB1. But Gunther had a lot of momentum as the new career killer. And they seemed to have pivoted. Where they pivoted, I mean, before he went to SmackDown, he was on Raw, and who they had lined up for him was LA Knight. No offense to LA Knight at all. I'm a big Eli Drake fan, to be completely honest with you. But that's not something that would have been conducive to keeping the momentum and the rise of where Gunther was at. He should have been confronting Roman Reigns. He should have been confronting Brock Lesnar even. And they just didn't pull the trigger on that stuff. And so now Gunther is kind of swimming around, just trying to find a purpose and trying to find meaning. And now he's stuck in a triangle storyline with Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. Potentially he could walk out of Night of Champions as the world champion. But my point is, they had an opportunity to pull the trigger on him and they hesitated. Now, if you look at Oba Femi, he beat Brock Lesnar in under 5 minutes at WrestleMania on ESPN, simulcast on ESPN. So the height of the heights. Brock comes back, gets his revenge. That's all well and good. And now the trajectory for Oba Femi at this height of popularity, no matter where he goes, the crowd chants, Oba, Oba. You got to capitalize on that. And I've seen the arguments that I've on the internet, and I've had discussions with people in comment sections, even my comment section, about Oba, it being too soon. You want to spread it out. It's all about the long-term storytelling. I'm a big long-term storytelling guy. Word to JD from NY206. I understand what he means about long-term storytelling. I agree here. There's a time and a place for long-term storytelling, and then there's a time and a place to capitalize on your momentum. And I believe with Oba Femi, it is the time to capitalize on his momentum. And the reason why I believe that is because if you look at where Oba is at, his trajectory is to battle the likes of Cody Rhodes, of Roman Reigns, and some of the top elites in the WWE, and eventually maybe even Gunther, and eventually get his rematch with Brock Lesnar and beat him. Go 2-1 against Brock Lesnar. If Undertaker was still around, Undertaker would be looking to wrestle Oba Femi, 100%. If you stretch it out, you're risking potential injury. You're risking a potential final boss to return to get a Saudi Arabia Mania main event against Roman Reigns. If any of those things happen, you push this opportunity back further. And so then you're not looking at Oba Femi winning the world championship at WrestleMania 43. You're looking at Oba Femi maybe winning it at SummerSlam, or maybe winning it at WrestleMania 44. If you go that long without ushering in your new generation by christening Oba Femi as the next top guy, giving him opportunities with guys that he's had history with in NXT, like a Ricky Saints, like a Javon Evans, then you're stifling your future. Oba is the future. And to preserve the future, you need to give him the ball to see, number one, if he's ready to carry that torch, truly carry that torch. And number two, to give the audience an opportunity to really get behind him in a real way. You've seen Bill Goldberg. Before Bill Goldberg, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Before Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan. In the middle of Hulk Hogan and Steve Austin, it was Bret the Hitman Hart. Shawn Michaels had his opportunity. And yes, you can argue that Hulk Hogan had a long journey to get to the WWF World Championship. Bret Hart, similar. Shawn Michaels, similar. But Goldberg, 100 plus matches or so, arguably, and then he's in the title picture, and he was given the ball. Did they know what to do after they gave him the ball? That is for another video. With Oba, as long as they have a plan, I believe he's ready. So now we talk about King of the Ring, and we talk about Jey Uso, and we talk about this idea of most fans seeming to think that Jey Uso is going to be the one to win because it's too soon for Oba Femi, and you still got Brock Lesnar circling around. My argument to that, or my thesis on that, is that Brock Lesnar shouldn't come out and involve himself in this Oba Femi Jey Uso match at the King of the Ring, because it doesn't make sense to me. And allow me to explain why it doesn't make sense. He's beaten Oba already. Now they're tied 1-1, but Brock got his revenge. There's no need to attack Oba Femi just because he called him a bitch on Monday Night Raw. Brock got what he wanted. He got an opportunity to give Oba his comeuppance. So there's no reason for him to come back out. He's already gotten his win. Let Oba win the King of the Ring and then go after the World Championship and potentially win that World Championship. And then he can use the title to lure the beast out. That will give Brock an incentive to come back. Oba can say, I know what you want. You want one more world title reign. So come get it. Now Brock comes out. Now you get that third match in the series. They have to make it make sense because Brock beat Oba already. So it makes more sense that Brock stays away until Oba has a bargaining chip, which would be the world title. I respectfully would find it foolish if they didn't capitalize on the success of Oba Femi sooner rather than later. I dig the perspective of those that have admiration for Roman in the bloodline and feel that Roman losing to Oba Femi would be a bit too soon. I understand that. There are numerous ways towards giving Oba the victory while maintaining the momentum for Roman Reigns. This is my opinion here. Right now, this incarnation of the bloodline isn't exactly solid. Jacob Fatu is a mercenary, but very well could also be a double agent, plotting on Roman, losing the title, so the status of the tribal chief could be in question. And he could play a vital role in the outcome of Femi versus Reigns at SummerSlam. There's also this tiny detail of Oba wearing a beaded necklace to the ring, similar to the Ulafala, and calling himself the Ruler. There's so much money in the Ruler versus the Tribal Chief tagline. Now, watching Paul Heyman on CVV, Chris Van Vliet's podcast, talking about when to pivot, it has me thinking about long-term plans. However, as I've stated before, if there's no plan for Oba Femi after he inevitably secures the World Championship and gets his revenge on Brock Lesnar, then I agree it's better to play it out and ignore the risks. As much as I love the bloodline, I enjoy the business in general. So as long as there's a story that's generating interest and preserving the future of the WWE and wrestling as a whole, then I'm good with it. And I get why Brock interfering is expected, but it's not proper revenge if he's already gotten that. And all Oba has done is call him out his name. So I am in favor of Oba Femi getting his run. It's similar to Brock Lesnar in many ways. The parallels are there. Brock won King of the Ring. Then Brock beat the tribal chief of the WWE in 2002 in the great one, The Rock. And Brock went on a tear. He went on an absolute legacy run. It's time for Oba to get that legacy run. The difference between Brock at that time and Oba, Brock had Paul Heyman. Oba doesn't even really need Paul Heyman. He speaks in this way that's kind of like an old world language. It's almost like he's riling a village to go storm a castle. It's very unique, and it's very commanding. He can hold his own on the mic. He shows intensity and seriousness. When he was standing across from Jey Uso, I believed that there was some animosity there. That's key. That's when I saw him in the ring with Jey, when I saw him in the ring with Brock, I saw a guy that's ready. So if they have a plan, and I strongly emphasize if, then I say give Oba the opportunity. But I would love to know what you guys think. My predictions for Night of Champions should be dropping soon. So I would love to hear your predictions on Night of Champions once the video drops. I'll also be doing predictions for Forbidden Door. But I really felt this video was necessary to kind of go over where my head is at. And although Jey is probably more favored to win the King of the Ring because it just kind of makes more sense, you know, with the Bloodline storyline eating up and Brock looming around, I don't see how it works in the story that they're telling. Brock does not need to come out and interfere against Oba because Brock's already gotten his revenge, so why would he come out and interfere in this match? I think it is far more logical, in my opinion, if Oba wins the championship and on his way to SummerSlam, Brock is lured back by either trying to stop Oba from winning the World Championship or trying to take the World Championship from Oba once he wins it. And that's my opinion. So guys, down in the comments section below, go ahead and let me know what you think of this idea that I have. If you think that Oba is ready, or if you think Jey Uso is more the guy that they should have win. Is it King Yeet or King Ruler? You guys let me know down in the comments section below. Thank you guys for listening to this video. If you like this video and more, you know what to do. Until next time, I'll see you around.